Yeah, but they'd take me home.
I mean, for the most
usually give me a bunch of shit about it, but
I mean, for the most part, me growing up, whenever I always only got drunk with people I knew, and I made sure I was either drunk enough where I could drive, like only drink 1 or 2 beers. If I knew I got to drive, only drink 1 or 2 beers, or if like I have somebody that's driving that's sober, then I'm gonna drink my ass off or do whatever the fuck I want to do in life.
That's one thing I can't say I hate about the alcohol laws, because, you know, I mean, there have been times where I've gotten drunk and I just sleep in my car. But you can still get a fucking DUI, even if that's literally all you were going to do.
Oh, one time I did that, and then luckily, that's when my mom told me, Phantom, you know you can get a ticket still. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they see the keys inside the ignition or next to you. They can give you a DUI. I'm like, I was asleep. I literally drove. I was like, I can't drive this far, because I had to drive another 45 minutes. I'm like, I drove 15 minutes. I'm like, I can't go. So this was like at beginning of phases of when Phantom thought he could drink and then drive sometimes. But then I drove for like 15 minutes and I was like, I can't drive. So I pulled over at a Walmart and I took a nap for like 4 hours at a Walmart.
Here, hey, sometimes you get lucky. I mean, shit, dude, I've been stopped before. I remember whenever I was in college, there was like me and 5 people, I believe. So there was like, well, I guess there would have been 5 of us in the car in total. But like, we're sitting here passing around this like 3-foot bong while we're driving, right? And like, so it was nighttime and we were in like a really lit up town, and we got stopped at a red light, and this cop like told us to roll down all of our windows. Lily sees us holding a 3-foot bong and she's like, why do you not have your headlights on? And doesn't say a fucking word.
Must be nice.
About holding it. I mean, like, you couldn't miss it. Like, there's no way. I mean, like, legit, like, we were lighting it for each other. Like, you couldn't light it yourself.
Must be nice to grow up where you grew up at. We would have went to jail.
Well, what was the funny thing is, it wasn't even a cop that I knew. Or, like, a cop that, you know, I've ever met, or, you know, anything like that. Like, I mean, she just completely ignored it. Like, and I mean, she could clearly see it, because, like I said, she made us roll down all the windows. And, like, smoke just barreled out because we were hotboxing it.
Hotboxing was the best time in college.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy time. That's why, like, that's one thing we need to look up, because, like, if you don't actually have to be an Oregon resident for these to be apply to you, oh, we're totally going there this year. Well, I guess not this year, but next year.
COVID free. Sound like somebody gonna try mushrooms, though. 40 doses of LSD. 2 guys, 2 beers, tripping.
Live from probably a fucking pond, knowing me. And you'll be like, why are we on a fucking duck paddling? Shut up, bitch. Just keep going.
I would cry. Depends on how much acid I have. Because the couple times I had acid, one time I got real paranoid. One time I had the greatest time of my life. And then another time it was like an alright trip. And then one time I got super, super light. This is when I figured out, like, going to festivals and being fucked up, and you have to, like, go to whenever you try these drugs, people, make sure you're at a comfortable place and, like, have good, like, thoughts and
good friends.
Yeah.
The first time I ever did acid, my friend was a douchebag, and he had one of those stupid Jack-in-the-Box things, and he kept fucking with it the whole time. I mean, I didn't really care. It didn't really scare me, but I don't know, for other people, like, they would have been freaking out. You know, and that's not something you really want to be around.
Well, see, the problem with acid that I experienced is, like, if you're having a bad trip, like a bell or something would kick you back into a worse part of a trip, and it's like, oh my gosh, Phantom, why did you do this? And all you can do is just be like, oh man, you gotta just keep going and try to, like, fight through it. And then a lot of people just tell me just keep fighting through it, and then I learned this. Have a photo of somebody you love and, like, you love unconditionally, and just look at it, or wear a wristband or something that you love unconditionally, and then whenever you're having a bad trip, just look at it so that the trip will go back to being good.
Yeah, that's totally not how I did it.
I mean, me and you is completely different. A lot of times I was in public when I was tripping. You was in a farm area or on a lake or river, which is sounding a lot more better than what I was, because like, when you tripping and people not tripping and you kind of freaking out, and you thinking like cops notice that you fucked up, but cops really don't give a fuck.
Honestly, man, most cops aren't too worried about it, especially as long as you're not driving, which is where I usually run into my issue. That's why I had to start hiding my car keys.
No, I never. Whenever I got fucked up, I never really drove because when I was in college, like literally the second semester, fourth week, of course we all drinking and driving. But in the fourth week, somebody crashed their car and killed 5, like everybody in the car. So like one of my friends was in that car. So one guy killed four people because he was drinking and driving. Mm-hmm. And literally, he was on that age, so it made like the whole school get in trouble and a lot of stuff happened. And then from that point on, I just said to myself, I'm never gonna I'm gonna drink and drive, but I'm not gonna be completely fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dangerous part about doing a lot of this shit is you never really know what can happen. Like I said, that's why, because remember how I told you there was one time I went to the beach whenever I was tripping on acid?
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since that fucking day, I decided that I'd give somebody else my keys because, I mean, I was fine. Nothing had happened, but, my friend legit almost jumped out of my fucking sunroof. I swear to God. He just yelled deer and stood up in the middle of the fucking car out of the sunroof and almost fell out the bitch right in front of, 2 police officers. Thank God they had people pulled over already.
Wow. Was your friend okay after that?
Yeah, he was fine. I mean, he was just tripping. I gave him too much acid. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he did it himself. It's not like I shoved him down his throat, but...
I mean, but a lot of times, I'm trying to teach kids, peer pressure is a real thing. I don't care what people say about peer pressure not being real. Peer pressure is a real thing, and if you feel like you feel uncomfortable, just say no or say you gotta go home or do something, because being forced to take too much stuff when you're not comfortable, it's gonna always fuck you up, and then you're gonna have regrets.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I know I've definitely been peer pressured into trying shit. That's how I did coke for the first time.
Oh, I was peer pressured to do a lot of shit. That's how I did coke for the first time too. At a festival, somebody was like, "Come on now, everybody else doing, you need to do it." And then I'm like, "I don't want to." And I did it. And I'm like, I don't feel anything because you gotta do it some more. I did some more. I'm like, still don't feel anything.
Yeah, that's where you get into trouble. Is that you don't feel it, and then the next thing you know, you're just like...
Yeah, that pretty much what happened. My heart was feel like it's about to explode. And then, of course, this is see, a lot of times when I do stupid shit, I'm coming down off another high. So, I was on Molly earlier that day at a festival, of course, so now you tired as hell. All your levels are low because you fucking just did drugs all fucking day, and you've been drinking, and you're not eating the best food ever. And then at the end part of the day, before trying to go to sleep, you're going to try to do coke. And yeah, of course, you can't go to sleep.
And you can't feel anything?
Oh, I can feel shit. But that sleep, when I finally did go to sleep, oh my God, I that was the best sleep of my life.
I bet you usually crash.
Oh, I crashed. I crashed hard.
Yeah, well, that's usually what happened to me. I'd do it, wouldn't feel anything body-wise, but then I'd be speedballing, just be whoa. I feel like I was fucking Superman, which I'm not saying is a great thing, but
Well, I just tell kids, if you don't feel comfortable, you ain't gotta do this stuff, because I have stories for y'all where it's it's good, I have fun times sometimes, but sometimes it was kind of more scary about doing drugs, and feel like if somebody ever say, like I said, you don't feel comfortable, just say no. People gonna say you're not fun and stuff like that, but in the day, you know what's your comfort zone. That's why I always tell people, whenever you first try drugs, I don't care if you do 0.5 of Molly. I don't care if you do 10 doses of acid. When you go to mushrooms, try the bare minimum, because no matter what, every drug reacts to your body differently. And you don't want to think you got a certain drug that you think you know how to do it, and then next thing you know, you try it, and then you OD.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's the same thing with LSD. I mean, you don't... just because I can take 10 doses, most people can't. I mean, I've been doing it for so long. I mean, I haven't done it in a while, but, whenever I had, started whenever I was, 14 years old. So, by the time that I actually got to that amount, I was, I want to say, 20, 21. and it didn't really fit. That's what it took for my body to actually react to it. By then,
yeah, my body reacted to one, and then my dumb ass decided one time at the festival. The festival was the worst time ever because the festival, I have a story for that. Holy shit, that was like the worst of the worst. Because not only did I do the acid, I was alone at a festival, and then my legs would start cramping. So what do you think to do when your legs is cramping?
Get up and move.
I got up and moved, but what else would you do?
And usually I eat a banana.
Pretty wrong. Phantom was like, you know what? I want some oranges. I need some orange juice. And I don't know why I kept thinking, I need more orange juice. I need more stuff. And apparently, my friend who was actually like do acid all the time was like, yeah, you were just intensifying your role even more and more.
Yeah, I know oranges, I want to say, are good for whenever you're like on cocaine to like help fight it. And I want to say like Adderall and or other stuff like that. I want to say it's supposed to like help decreasify your intensity, so you're not like speeding as much.
Well, on acid, doing orange juices or oranges or drinking that vitamin C pack is the worst idea ever. I'll let y'all know now, because not only did I only take 2, but drinking all that orange juice and all that stuff, it pretty much intensified everything.
Oh, if we go to Oregon and we're going for a festival, bro, we're totally going to hit up one of those IV bars first and afterwards.
No, I'm doing after, definitely. Because I already know, after festivals, I'm always dead. Like, now since I got older, I'm definitely going to be dead. But when I was young, bruh, I literally could do a festival, a 5-day festival. That next day, when I get out the festival, I'm going to sleep that whole day. I drive, like, I remember when I went to Bonnaroo. In the middle of the night, I was like, it was the last night. We was there for 5 days already, and with nobody else we really wanted to see. So I was like, and it was cold, so I was like, you know what? Pack up everything. We're going to pack up everything and leave tonight after we seen the last person we wanted to see. And I drove home, and then literally I made there like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then literally that next day, I didn't wake up until like 5 o'clock at night.
Damn.
Oh, when I sleep, well, you gotta remember at festivals, you know how many drugs, how much drinking, how much everything you doing, so you're not really paying attention about time and stuff. Yeah. Like, literally, you get like maybe 2-3 hours of sleep. That's how I was doing it.
Yeah, you're just asleep during the day, and then I'll be up all night.
And see, I'm the type of person where I'm more friendly, so then I'm like, you want a beer? You get a beer. All right, let's go talk. And we talk. And then, like, of course, Phantom being the black guy, of course, people look at you more weird. So then you got to be extra friendly. And then, but from my experience, it's like more like, oh, this guy cool. And then everybody else started liking me. It's like, oh, you cool for a black guy. I'm like, well, thanks, I guess.
Racist fuck.
Pretty much, that's what I be thinking in my head. Like, what does that mean? I'm cool for a black guy. And they're like, no, we just thought black people was like this. I'm like, y'all never experienced a black person in your life for? What the hell is that wrong with y'all?
I mean, look at me. Like I said, I grew up and there was only 3 black families, and that was within like a 50-mile radius. So, we weren't really accustomed to any. And like I said, those were like Steve Urkel black people. We're not talking about like normal, every day. Like these were like white as white can be.
Well, like I said, I just try to. That's why I always treat people the same. Just in case the first time they meet me, it's the first time they meet a real black person. They're like, oh, they not that bad. And then they used to be racist, and then who knows, I convert them not to be racist anymore.
Yeah, hopefully. Usually that's all it takes. Just moving away or going to some place where there's more of a culture difference.
Yeah.
When you get to experience it, and then you actually realize that, a lot of the shit you were taught isn't that bad.
Yeah. But I also met, like, some idiots at festivals, too. Like, I literally met, this is a story for another time, but I literally went to one festival in New York, and this girl, she told this guy no. She didn't want to, like, talk to him or, like, do anything with him. Literally, like, everybody at, like, the festival, he came back, took a shit inside her tent, and rubbed the shit everywhere around her tent and stuff.
That's fucking nasty.
Oh, not only that, like, she came there at night, and she was like, what the hell is that smell? So then she finally cut on her light, and literally, like, I think, like, cough just come. like literally to her tent area to like